Hi, my name is Wan. I'm a coach based in Singapore. In this video, I'm going to share with you a strategy for infusing agile values in organization. I'm sure all of us heard of agile. It has been become popular in the last few years, especially in IT department. And the movement of agile has been embraced by other department as well, especially when the situation is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. In this sharing, my focus is on helping organization to embrace the values of Agile. The main motivation is I discover majority of sharing about Agile is about frameworks and methodologies. Hopefully, you get a few tips in helping your organization to embrace agile values. In this sharing, I will first talk about what are the agile values, common challenge within organization for embracing agile values. Secondly, the a quick aspect from the proposed strategy. In this sharing, I'm going to highlight three factors within the strategies. It's by no means exhaustive. First is upgrading leadership in dealing with complexity. Secondly, helping leaders from creative tendency to creative to reframe and rebuild. And finally is how would peer support be effective in infusing agile values? Well, um, in this area, I'm going to use the values shown in the Agile Manifesto. There are four. We prefers interactive interaction among individuals over process and tool. Second, working solution over comprehensive documentation. Third, collaboration with customer or stakeholders over negotiation of contract. Fourth, um, responding to change rather than following a plan. And in Agile, besides Agile values, there are other aspects of Agile. As you can see on the screen, there are bubbles within bubbles. This is called Agile onion. At the lowest part is the tools and process and practice. You will hear commonly Scrum and Kanban being practiced by the Agile practitioner. The third layer is principles, like the Proud Job principles in the Agile Manifesto. The fourth layer is values, just what I've shared in the previous slide. As we progress from the bottom to the top, it's more powerful to embrace values and rather than just practicing some agile ceremonies, tools, or processes. And on the other hand, it's also less complex to adopt agile practices as comparing to embracing agile values. When I say complex, I mean embracing agile values involving more components in the system, and therefore it's more complex and also more powerful as the organization moving towards learning organization. And what are some of the challenge in infusing values? I think all practitioners, agile or not, and leaders are aware values usually take more time and take more effort. One of the challenges is definitely the project mindset, which everything must be a set time bound with explicit stated activities and outcome. That actually create a challenge of the expectation for a certain period, which in promoting a value, we have less influence. It can challenge the culture of emphasize on output versus outcome. Output is like how much revenue, how fast could we complete a project, and so on. And I don't mean output is not relevant or not important versus outcome. I mean the challenge if the organization is emphasizing on output, other outcome may be neglected. For example, the way people interact, how do you respond to conflict? All these are not really visible and tangible output, but it's outcome from our activities. And this project mindset and the emphasis on output also create challenge for middle management. They are the one who execute the initiative, and they also have to help the organization to embrace the values. So they are actually stuck in between. How would they respond to conflicting or potential conflict demands between output and embracing agile values? In the first proposed strategy, there are three outcomes. Flexibility. That means that the strategy can be used in different environmental departments, from volume management to delivery. Inclusive. In this strategy, we are promoting everyone as a leader versus people with official title as leader. Scalable. That means this strategy can be used in smaller organization to bigger, huge company. The first factor in this proposal is upgrade of leadership. We believe, or I believe, in this strategy, all of us need to be a leader, small letter L leader. Doesn't mean we have an official title. We all need to create values through leadership, whether we have the official title. And the reason being is in the article, Universal Model of Leadership by the company, the leadership circle, uh, the company proposed that consciousness can evolve into a higher order capacity to meet complexity. As I said in the previous slide, in the worker environment, complexity has been increased. And using the universal model of leadership, the consciousness has to be evolved to a higher capacity. In the article is proposing that the leader to move away from reactive to creative for majority of the organization. And what do you mean reactive? Reactive tendency is a style of leadership that emphasizes cautions for creating result, self-protection, aggression over building alignment, self-limiting belief over gaining cooperation with others, protecting self, and getting result to high control. And in creative competency is how you achieve result by bringing the best in other people, leading with vision, embracing self-development, act with integrity and courage, and improving organization or system effectiveness. By upgrading the leadership, especially the middle manager, from my experience, there's a greater chance of success in infusing agile value as per the article by the Universal Leadership Circle to help leader to uh, handle higher complexity. We need to upgrade their leadership from creative to creative, and to the positive outcome is possible to attract funding for the long-term project. And if you are interested to know where you are in your leadership development, check out this workshop, your leadership development blueprint, and there's a video below this video describing, explaining what is including in your leadership development blueprint. The second factor in the proposed leadership is reframe and rebuild. Reframe is the technique to help the leader to see the situation from slightly different perspective. And in the tool called positive intelligence, there are 10 major saboteurs among us. And based on my experience, 3 saboteurs are common among managers and leaders. The first one is high achiever. They emphasize on results over others, including learning. Second, controller. They tend to want to make sure everybody follow his or her instruction and preference in delivering results. That is hyper rational. They tend to ignore emotion in working with people, therefore become less effective in some situation. In the reframe, we will help the leader to observe the impact of the saboteur on embracing agile values. For example, um, if a leader is demonstrating tendency of high achiever, that means emphasis is much more on the output and less about the value. For example, uh, responding to change, working with customer or stakeholder. order, encouraging interaction among participants, and more emphasize less emphasis on working solution rather than documentation. And once the saboteur of the leader are identified, we help them to see the negative impact of this saboteur and shift them to from reactive to creative. We emphasize on using the right brain. As you know, many managers or leaders are left brain thinker. That means they emphasize on linear thinking, effects and logic. And to be creative, we need to leverage on other intelligence like visualization, imagination, and intuition. And if you're interested in reframe and review, check out this program page, which more information are being shared. And below are two videos ready to reframe and rebuild. So far, we have shared to help organization to embrace agile value. We need the leadership to be more creative and less reactive. And secondly, we are using the framework of reframe and rebuild to support the shift from reactive to creative. Third is a support structure, peer support structure to support scalability. That means if there are many leaders involved, how would we enable the upgrade of leadership without spending too much resource? And in the book, Agility by Michael Hammond, it holds the idea of deliberate developmental environment. For example, in the leadership container, there are agents to facilitate the learning, and there are structured to provide psychological support and psychological challenge, and some method and framework for learning. And based on experience, I'll share with you a tool called action learning to support the leader in transition from reactive to creative. In this um, methodology, this tool, there is a problem presenter, is a person with a challenge the presenter is involved in and place high value in the outcome. And within a group, there are other members who help the presenter to reflect on the situation and to help the presenter be aware of the option and possibly create his or her own solution. And the third role in this action learning is the learning coach. This coach observes the interaction and the exchange of information, and in the process, he or she as a coach will identify opportunity for learning. And to help us to embrace agile value, beside the leadership competency, I will propose the group that info agile values so that in helping his or her teammate to resolve a challenge. We also learn about how would we demonstrate these values in this challenge. There is, let me summarize the strategy. It has three factors. First is to upgrade the leadership from more reactive to more creative. This is achieved through the framework of reframe and rebuild, and the supported the leader shift in scale and in sustainability. I'm proposing using a deliberate development environment like an action learning. Thank you. If you're interested to embrace agile value for your organization, I'm definitely honored to be your shepherd. And here is my linking profile and my contact number. Thank you for your attention.